Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm John Bach, and we're here in Palm Beach for Restoration Weekend, and I'm joined by Dinesh D'Souza, of course, best-selling author, and also the filmmaker who brought millions of Americans a very popular film documentary now, 2016, Obama's America. Dinesh, thanks for being with us today.
It's a real pleasure.
I know a lot of conservatives were very disappointed by the outcome of the election, but I think there has to have been a part of you, at least, that is somewhat curious as what's going to happen now, because we are going to find out definitively what Obama's America is going to look like in 2016. And since the election, is there anything definitive that you can point to that shows that President Obama is walking down that path post-election that you talk about in the film?
Well, it's a little early to say, but one of the most chilling moments in 2016 is when Obama leans over to the then Russian President Medvedev and basically says, hey, let's talk after the election. I've got some stuff, in effect, I want to give you, but I can't tell the American people now, so let's wait till I'm reelected. And then after being reelected, one of Obama's first scheduled trips to Russia. And the topic, missile defenses. So I think the risk with Obama has been not only has he been slashing our offensive nuclear capability, and Reagan had some offensive nuclear arms cuts and treaties, but on the other hand, Reagan wanted missile defenses to create a protective shield. And Obama seems to be willing to trade our missile defenses with Putin. So we'll see what he actually does when he goes to Russia. The other thing is the Middle East. Look, there's you see radical Islam is coming together, and I think Islam is being reconstituted as a global power. Obama, far from trying to stop it, appears to be collaborating with it, and we'll have to see if that continues over the next 4 years.
And what specifically, when you talk about collaboration, are you referencing?
Well, I would contrast Obama with Jimmy Carter. Now, Jimmy Carter was, I think we have to admit, a bit of a nincompoop. And they had the Shah of Iran, who was a dictator, and Carter said, I don't like this guy, I want to get rid of him. So we pulled the Persian rug from the Shah, and we got Khomeini. But Carter didn't know that. Carter would have been horrified if he thought that this radical Muslim mullah would then rule Iran, and that Iran would be our deadly enemy for the next 30 years. But with Obama, when Obama sends cables to the Egyptian military and says, listen, you guys step aside, turn over power to the Muslim Brotherhood, Obama knows what's coming. He knows what the Muslim Brotherhood is. He knows it's the largest organization of radical Islam in the world. So the difference between Obama and Carter is that Carter really was a bungler. He really was the amateur. Obama, on the other hand, wants to redesign the map of the Middle East, and he's doing it.
We're also going to talk about this fiscal cliff negotiation, and you have talked extensively about Obama's desire to redistribute the wealth in this country. He has made overtures trying to reach out for bipartisan consensus on this issue. Do you think he's being insincere in that, or do you think he's, what do you think his motives are for calling for bipartisanship?
Well, first of all, I think it's tactically a smart move. Second of all, it's always a mistake to contrast ideology with pragmatism. Ideology is where you want to go, and pragmatism is how you get from here to there. Really effective ideologues are always pragmatic. They'll always take 80% of what they want rather than try to get 100% and end up with nothing. In that sense, Reagan was a pragmatic ideologue. Obama, if he needs some Republican votes, as he clearly will try to get them, but he'll want to move the debate in his direction. So that's very different than Clinton compromise. Clinton compromise is, I want to get a deal. And if I have to bend 50% and the other guys bend 50%, I'm okay with that because I want to be well liked. And I'm perfectly happy to govern in the center. Obama is, I want to move the debate over here. Now, if I need to give a few inches to get there or get mostly there, I'll do that. But that's a different kind of approach. I think contrasting Obama and Clinton is instructive.
You wrote about this topic recently, and you seem to hold out some hope that President Obama would change. Why did you seem a little bit optimistic in that op-ed piece I just read?
Well, my op-ed is, in a way it's complimentary to Obama because it recognizes the power of the man, the charisma of the man.
He's very smart.
He campaigned, and I think it should temper conservatives who have kept for 4 years describing him as a fool. He can't give a speech, he can't write, he needs a teleprompter. And Obama's proven that he can get a lot of his agenda through and that he can get himself reelected at the end of it, despite a tough economy. So I admire Obama in some way. My thesis is this, Obama has an ideology imprinted on his psyche. It's based on who he is, it's based on who he was and how he got here. Now the question is, can people learn to transcend that? Can they leave it behind? And I say, in a sense, is there a way for Obama to fall in love with his own country? And by that I mean to protect its interests above that of other nations. I think all his life Obama's been a global guy. And I'm thinking that one way Obama may fall in love with his country is if he realizes his country is now prostrate at its feet. I mean, the American people have sort of almost devotionally turned over for the second time the country to Obama and said, kind of do with it as you will. Obama's an egotist, and I think he might say, well, wow, well, I'm now entrusted by the American people with this sort of great commission, and maybe I actually will represent these people and defend their interests in the world. Listen, I wouldn't bet on it, but it is a possibility.
You say he's an egotist. Doesn't that beg the question that wouldn't he be concerned about his legacy if he does continue to take the country down the path that you say he's pursuing in making it equal in terms of income towards other countries in the world? I mean, certainly most Americans would not recognize the United States in 2016 as you describe it in the movie, and that would have a negative impact on his legacy. Wouldn't he be concerned about his legacy?
He would be concerned about his legacy if his primary constituency and audience was the American people. So egotism can work in two directions. If Obama's concerned about what the American history books are going to say about him, if he's concerned about what the American people say about him in 4 years, then I agree with you. If he's concerned about the reputation of African Americans 4 years from now, then I agree with you. Then I think Obama would need to figure out how to rescue the economy, how to restore America's standing in the world. But let's say that's not Obama's goal. Let's say he's answerable to the voice of his own conscience. Let's say he says to himself, listen, is it possible for one man by himself in 8 years to end the era of American dominance? Is it possible for one man to take the ship of the world that has for 500 years been sort of wrong side up, with Europe dominating and the West dominating the world? And can I, Obama, alone capsize it the other way, so that now I create a world in which Russia and Brazil and China and India share power with America, in which America is only one nation among many? So it's possible that Obama may leave office. The American people are disgusted with him, but his point is, wow, I did it. I came in to do a job, and I did it, and there's a little voice inside my head that now says, in the biblical cadence, well done, thou true and faithful servant.
We're already seeing some pushback from some liberals in the Senate in this fiscal cliff discussion, telling Obama, what to do and what not to do. Do you believe that his own party would let him pursue these goals that you talk about in the movie? I mean, we have midterm elections coming up in 2 years. There could be a negative consequence. There could be more Republicans in the House, more Republicans in the Senate if things go the way down that road.
Well, this is the sort of relevance of 2016. In other words, the film, oddly enough, would be obsolete had Romney won, but is now very relevant that Obama's there. Now, the film in a way looks at what would happen if Obama had his way. It's almost as if we remove all obstacles, checks and balances, we remove the court, we remove the Republican Congress. What if Obama could run, unmolested? But of course he won't. He's going to have counterbalancing forces. On his own side in the Democratic Party, you have the mainstream Democrats and you have the left. Now I think the left knows what Obama's doing. He is pursuing decline, and they want decline. If this seems odd, I mean, look, I could go to 100 American campuses and say America's the rogue nation in the world. It's America's nuclear arsenal, not Iran's, that's the problem. We should put the leash on America. And I'd get thunderous applause, at Berkeley, at Oberlin College, at Yale. So there's plenty of people on the left who have this sort of let's shrink America ideology. It's not unique to Obama. But on the other hand, there is a mainstream Democratic Party that actually wants to be a governing party beyond Obama.
And many of whom want to get reelected.
Many of them want to get reelected, and they believe in the traditional American consensus. It's good for America to be prosperous. It's good for America to be strong. We need to be prosperous to have more money to redistribute. So there are lots of guys who are going to be trying to temper Obama, but although so far he's been very skillful in being able to triumph over those guys.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what does happen in 2016. So everybody, I guess, should get a copy of the movie and hold on to it, do their own compare and contrast. How many theaters is it playing in right now? Well,
it peaked at over 2,000 theaters, and it did $33 million in the theater. But now it's available in DVD, video on demand. It's available in hotels. So it's very easy to get now in retail outlets. And so it's actually, I think it's in a way just as interesting to watch now because, of course, it's laying out a roadmap for what to expect in the second Obama term.
And it remains to be relevant, as you said. Dinesh D'Souza, thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure.